وهذا كتاب أنزلناه مبارك فاتبعوه واتقوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We come to another session of Quranic themes, and last time we discussed about arrogance, discussed about kibr, discussed about people's, people feeling that they're on top of each other, on way high above others. And this is a marad or a disease of the heart that runs through a lot of problems that we have on the earth. Another one that we're going to discuss today, which is very rife in today's time, is ar-riya, which is showing off, okay, or doing things for oneself and one's own image and one's own promotion and one's own attraction of attracting people to oneself rather than doing it for Allah's sake. So the Quran has got many verses where Allah Azza wa Jalla has talked about mardatillah, which means to do something to please Allah, to get the pleasure of Allah. So the mu'min and the believer, according to the Quran, will go through his life, or will go through her life, trying to make sure that whatever he's doing, she's doing, it is to try and get Allah's pleasure. And Allah's pleasure comes above others. And what happens to people who want to attract others to themselves is that they're more concerned about how other people are going to judge them. And this runs through not only doing good actions, but even when they are trying to, even when it comes to bad actions. Some people will actually do bad actions because what will others say? So this phrase, what will others say? That becomes so deep in their minds that they will do anything to please people. And people pleasers, they're in great loss. Okay, so the Quran, let me just give you certain ayats, okay, and this will make it clear. Because what happens to people, and this is in most of our communities, people do this. So, they say that, well, others are doing it, so I'm going to do it. What are you doing? You're just pleasing people. And Allah Azza wa Jalla has said in the Holy Quran, a phrase that is really goes to the heart of all of this. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He praises the believers, and He says in an ayah of the Quran, this is Surah number 5, ayah number 54. Allah says that one of the things about the believers, He says, وَلَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. Allah says that they do not fear the blame of people, or the blame of the one who's going to criticize them. They don't fear this criticism that's going to come towards you. Now, one of the things of people pleasers is that they want to please everyone, or they want to please as many people as they can. And the more they think that the more people they please, the further they're going to get in life. Whereas it's actually the opposite is true. You cannot please everyone. You can't please everyone. I mean, there's a famous story. It's not a true story, but it's a story that actually makes you think. I heard this when I was young, and I thought, subhanallah, it is, I kept this in my mind for life, that, whatever you do, you can't please everyone. It doesn't matter who you are on this earth, you cannot please everyone. And you've got to start off life with that I'm going to displease a lot of people in life if I'm going to be who I want to be. And I'll please a good portion of people in life, but then I'm going to displease other people eventually if I carry on being a people pleaser. So the story is, there's the man and the donkey. What happens is he goes with his donkey, and the man is donkey, and he's got his son. So the man is actually old, he's an old man, his son is a young boy. And what happens is, in the beginning, the old man is riding the donkey, and he has like his young son, he's walking along with him. Okay, because it's going to be too much for the donkey to take two. So when they pass the first village, the villagers look and they say, look at that old man, he has no mercy for his young son. He's riding the donkey, but his young son is walking. So when they hear that, the old man says, hey son, let me get off, you get on. Okay, so his son gets on, he gets off. They pass by the next village. The villagers look and say, ah, look at this young man. He's young, he can walk. Yeah, he can walk. Why doesn't he have mercy on his old father and put him on the donkey? So the father thought, oh my God, okay son, you know what, let's do one thing, yeah? You come down and I'll come down, and let's basically just walk, both of us side by side with the donkey. So they don't make that comment. So they pass by the third village, and the third village said, oh, what stupid people they are. They could, at least one of them could get on the donkey, right? What stupid people they are. So then, they passed, the father said, look, this is not working, okay? Let's do one thing, yeah? Let's get myself and yourself both, we're both going to be on the donkey. So both of them get on the donkey. Fourth village, they pass by that, and the villagers look at them and say, ah, look at these people, they have no mercy on the donkey, right? That poor donkey carrying two of them, what are they doing, right? So then the father gets off and he says to his son, get up, look, he said, we tried you, okay, they talk, we tried me, they talk, we tried both of us off, they talk, we tried both of us on, they talk. He said there's only one thing to do, right? So he got some rope out, he tied the donkey's legs, and he tied the other legs at the front, and he picked two of the legs of the donkey, and his son picked the two legs of the donkey, and now they're carrying the donkey. And then you can imagine what happened by the time they got to the fifth village, right? They're saying, oh my God, what stupid people these are, right? They're supposed to use the donkey to carry them, they're carrying the donkey, all right? So the thing is, if you run into trying to please people, doesn't matter how hard you try, they're going to say something or another, okay? So you can't please everyone. This now, once you've understood this, you've got to understand that Allah Azza wa Jalla, He praises the believers by saying, you don't fear the criticism of those who are going to blame you, because people will always say something about you. This is life. People will always say something, even if you're doing something right, they will say something about you. You're doing something wrong, of course they're going to say something about you. So you've got to lead your life according to who you think, what your principles are. Now, as believers, according to Quran, our principles are mardatillah, which means that anything that we do, we want to find the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Now let me give you an ayah of the Quran or reference so that you can find this inshallah later on. So Surah number 2, ayah number 265. Allah Azza wa Jalla says that وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُم, and the example of those people who spend their wealth, who give their wealth, ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ, so that they can seek the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jalla, وَتَثْبِيتًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ, so that they can solidify their own self. Now what happens is, when you do it for Allah's sake, you actually make yourself solid on the earth. Why? Because when people follow, let's say, look, when people follow others, and every time they're following others, what happens is that eventually you're going to feel that if I've got this person's pleasure, I'm fine. Now what happens after a while is people's moods changes, okay? People's moods change, people's ways change, people's cultures change, okay? Let's just look at styles of hair, okay? Let's look at styles of hair. How many styles have we had in the last 40 years, okay? In the 70s, you had hair that was over the ears, okay? That was the hair. In the 80s, it got a bit shorter. In the 90s, it got really short. Got to the noughties, and people are having all sorts of trimmed haircuts, having hair on top, above and so on. Then the beard comes into fashion. Okay, now recently it's like that beard has come into fashion. Now you look at all these youngsters, you see them, you say, mashallah, he's got a beard. But then you got so many styles of beard, and a lot of these youngsters, and I question, may Allah Azza wa Jalla give them sincerity, say Ameen. But I question why they're keeping the beard. Because if you're keeping the beard for fashion's sake, then you're doing it for people's sake. And you've got to always follow the fashion. The moment you're out of fashion, people are going to start looking and saying, look at him, look at him. But if you follow Allah's pleasure and you don't care about anyone, first people will criticize you. First people will say to you, what are you, you're Sufi, you're Mullah, you're Molvi, you're this, you're that. People say all these things just to put you down. But after a while, when you stick to your principles, then people give you a lot of credit. Because this is what the Quran is saying, تَثْبِيتًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ. When you follow Allah's way, then you actually solidify yourself amongst people that I'm not here for you, or so-and-so, or this culture, or that nation, or that people. I'm not here for that. I'm here for Allah's sake. And what that does is that it gives you a lot of respect in the end. People respect you for who you are. Now, these beard styles that they've got, you find some of them, one beard style will be that they'll keep a thin beard, okay, all the way down, all the way around, okay. Another one will be they'll keep a goatee beard, okay, just around here. Another one will be that they'll keep a beard where it comes down here, then it goes across the cheek and a little bit down here. These are all different styles and fashions they've got, but what they're doing is they're trying to please people. Another one is you just keep a little bit here. Another one is that you keep size 2 or size 1 or size 3 here, size 1 here. Whatever you do, you do it because you're trying to get a particular style. Now if you follow the sunnah, if you're following the sunnah of the beard, then follow the sunnah all the way, and you'll get respect in the end, because people will look at you as a person who's following, following the best of what we've got, which is, we've only got one God, that is Allah Azza wa Jal, and we've got the best of human creation, that is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and you're following that. So you're following the best celebrity you can ever have. Okay, people, subhanallah, they look at these football stars, they look at these, other stars, and on social media, and whatever the hairstyle is, they want to copy that hairstyle because they've got that. Now, it's not cheap to get these hairstyles. People are spending a lot of money. These young boys, they'll spend a lot of money just to get that hairstyle, and then they'll have to change it again to the new hairstyle. So that, and what happens? When they've got that new hairstyle, or when they've got that new thing, then everyone's talking about them. Everyone's looking at them, everyone's giving them attraction and so on. But you know what? It's for a moment. Because as soon as you get left behind, you've lost that respect from those people. And people will leave you behind. Now what kind of life is that? That every week, every month, I have to change something just to keep in your books. Why? I remember years ago, I always wear these clothes, wherever I'm going. And I remember walking out there somewhere, I think it was in North London somewhere. And a black guy saw me. Okay, he's not a Muslim. A black guy saw me, and I think he was a bit of like a Rastafarian type of black person. He looked at me and he said, "Wagwan, you wear these clothes?" Right, so I'm like, yeah, I wear these clothes. He said, "We respect you, respect for you." I'm thinking, why is he saying respectful? He said, as for us, as for people out there, they lose the respect. They change the clothes, they change everything. As for you, you keep it, your respect. That is true. Society has changed, time has changed. But if you wear something which you identify yourself with a certain time, then you have got respect because you've got values. The whole thing is you've got certain values. And if you've got those values, then people will give you respect for that. And what's happened today is that, with the social media, it's gone to another level. This riyah, this showing off to people has gone to another level, like no other time. People have to, take photos of everything. Photos of everything. Every moment there's got to be some kind of photo. And you've got to really ask yourself, why are you doing this? Because if you're doing this, okay, fine, a photo here and a photo there just to show someone else, fine. But if you're doing it constantly because you want people to look at you, you want people to admire you, you want people to sort of, look at you as the person that everybody should talk about, that everybody should look at, then you're running into a problem. So this thing about having selfies all the time, and I don't know if you've noticed or something, okay, most of these people who take selfies, they're always smiling, which is fine. But you know what? They don't smile that much in their lives. The only reason they're smiling is because when others will see them, they want to see them happy. And then they run into trouble, because when you look at the Facebook, posts and the Instagram posts and so on, you kind of see that, they've got a lot of likes and a lot of people looking at them, and they've always put those, the brilliant clothes, the latest clothes, the smartest thing that they've got, their face is looking beautiful, and they've taken so many different pictures of these all the time that it gives you an image that this person is like this. And the truth is they're not like that. They can't smile like that. No person smiles that much, okay? I wish you do, okay, but they don't. And they give a fake image, then they have to live up to that image. Now you're in a competition because you've put yourself up there, people expect you to be up there, now you have to live a life to be up there. And it's hard. It's hard. And then they go into depression mode. Or they go into feeling bad about themselves because they think, I'm not getting as many likes. To get my next few likes, I have to, or next few, whatever it is, I have to make sure that I do something new. Then you start doing something silly. There are a lot of these young people now who've got into a life where they'll do silly things just to get that attention. And they're ruining their reputation, they ruin their future. Now others laugh at them, others give them the likes, but what do they get in the end? They don't get respect in the end. You don't get true respect for over a few years. Once you do something silly and you put it onto social media, and people have seen that, people, they will post their food. Look what I've cooked. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's once a week you've cooked, or once a month you've cooked. I don't know what you're cooking, but why do you have to send photos to everyone of all the things that you're eating? I mean, one thing is there's the evil eye. Do you guys understand? Do you understand the evil eye? Yeah, there's the evil eye. If I'm ever going to send a photo of my food, I'll tell the people who've taken the photo, I'll say that send it after 48 hours. I want to make sure that that food has been digested. Do you understand, yeah? Because you send the picture right now, people see it and their mouth gets watery. They've given you the evil eye and you're there eating it. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You're going to get food poison, my friend, or something's going to happen to your stomach. People send these pictures, they don't realize they send pictures of their houses, their cars, their families, and what are you doing? Well, one thing is, you're not doing all of this for Allah's sake, that's for sure. Showing my whole life to people, look what I've got this car, I've got this holiday, I've got this house, I'm doing this, and you're sending all of that constantly to people. You're increasing the level of jealous people you have in your life. And straight up, the more gifts people know that you have on this earth, and the more you advertise that, the more you have attracted the jealous people on this earth. And the more jealous people you have. Okay, so you can start counting how many jealous people you've got. And once people get jealous of you, then you've got now enemies that are wanting to have these things to go away from your life. Or they will give you the evil eye. So you run into further trouble. If you've got whatever you've got, look, show a little if you want to show it. There's nothing wrong in showing a few things that you've got, fine. But don't go overboard with everything that you want to show to others. Why? You're going to get a lot of people who will become your enemies for no reason. Be considerate of your life. Just because you've got this social media device doesn't mean that you use it to show your entire life. I mean, let's look at it. Before this social media came, before you could take photos and send it to people so easily within a seconds and show them across the whole of the world, did we ever have that kind of life that everybody knows what you've got? Did we have that, guys? Yes or no? No one knew. Only a few people that were close to you, who came to your house, who you allowed them to enter your house, who knew of you, they were the only few people. And even then, if you allowed them to see what you've got and you talked about it, they knew what you had. Right now, the world is suffering seriously, and I don't know what problem we're going to get into next, but a lot of people are feeling down, they're feeling, they don't have enough. Why? Because you're watching others with all the things that they've got, and you're thinking, wow, he's got that, wow, she's got that, wow. And people are just flicking through Instagram video after video, YouTube video after video from the channel. They're looking at the vlogs, they're looking at the Facebook videos they put there, and they're wowing. Look, my friend. One thing is, you don't need to see what's going on in everyone's life. You don't need to see what others have got, because then you're going to feel that you don't have enough. And then you're going to feel that you're not showing respect to Allah Azza wa Jal, showing appreciation for what you've got. So you run into another problem yourself. Or you get into a competition with them and you start to show what you have. And all of this is showing off. Tell me how much of this is for Allah's sake. How many people send all of this for Allah's sake? Look, there's nothing wrong in you having good clothes and so on. Like I said to you, the hadith, last time, that the Sahabi said, I like to have good clothes and I like to have good shoes. And the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah loves to see the extent of His gifts on His servant. Allah likes that. That is not what arrogance is. Now, showing off is not having good clothes. Look, if you wear good clothes because you like to appear nice in front of others, You don't want to appear scruffy. You don't want to appear, someone who's disheveled in front of others. But you want to appear nice in front of others. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to have a car that is comfortable for you, that is something that you can, have comfort on your journey. It's a little bit expensive of a car, but Allah's given you the money. You bought that. There's nothing wrong with that. You buy your car. But if you buy a car, or you have some clothes where you're trying to score numbers with people, or you're trying to say, hey, you're not probably saying it. Look, there's two tongues we have. You got to remember this. The ulama have said this. There's two tongues you have. You have lisanul qal wa lisanul hal. Okay. Now you have a tongue which is in your mouth, which you speak with, and there's another tongue you have, which is your body language. You guys understand? You don't say it with your tongue, but you kind of leave the impression there. So one is to say to someone, hey, what have you got? Huh? Look what I've got. That's like abrupt, straight up with your tongue. But another one is not to actually say that, but to mean that. So you kind of come out with your clothes or with your style or with what have you got, and you don't mention anything, but it's like, who's bigger now? Who's got more now? That kind of impression that you want to leave behind. That is similar to saying it, because your intention counts. And what you did there is you're trying to show off. Now the worst happens is, what's far worse than this is when that comes into the deen, when that comes into religion. So now, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, I can't. You go to the internet, or you go to, when people have done some ibadah. Let's say, for example, they've gone to Hajj. Have you seen them? Have you seen them in Hajj? Selfie in front of the Kaaba, selfie in front of, in Sa'i, video call, I'm in Tawaf right now, I'm doing my 4th Tawaf, I'm going around here, here's the Kaaba, I'm just kind of, I know you're all the way in England, you're all the way in Canada, wherever, but since I'm here and you can see the Kaaba, I've kind of given you view of the Kaaba, that you've seen the Kaaba, blah blah blah. You see, I've given you full view of this life, whatever. I'm in the Haram in Medina Munawwara. Look, here's the Prophet's great. And some people go to another extent. They kind of, I don't know, man. They I don't know. They've got into this thing. It's going to be crazy now. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you about the permissibility and non-permissibility of this, but I want to say this, that it's going to be crazy. People taking all the phones out in front of the Prophet's grave, and they're phoning people and say the salam right now. And they're all saying salam through the phone. Now there's loads of these phones going off with salam. Hey, quick, say the salam now. Oh, done you a big favor, huh? Listen, if I want to say salam to the Prophet ﷺ, I can say from anywhere in the world. I don't need you, a human being, to take your phone, okay, your Samsung or whatever, your iPhone, all the way to, the Prophet's masjid in front of his grave, and then to, make me say salam to that. I've got a better way and a quicker way, much quicker way, much better way, and a much cleaner way of sending salam to him, direct. Which is what? The Prophet ﷺ said, that when I'm gone from this world, the Sahaba asked him, they said, when you're alive, we're sending salam on you, and we sending salutations on you. What do we do when you've gone from the earth? So the Prophet ﷺ said, when I've gone from the earth and you send salam wherever you are, then the angels will bring it and present it to me. Allah will return my soul to my body. I will say the salam to you, and then after that, finished, you've got the salam back. So right now I'm here, I say, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. I've said that, oh Allah, please send salutations and bless and send, your salam on the Prophet ﷺ and his family, and on his sort of wives or his family or his companions and so on. I've said that. Right now the angels have taken this, gone straight to Madinah Munawwara and presented it to him. Do I need you with your phone? Hey, say salam right now. And it's gone sort of crazy with the ibadah. They're doing anything, doing the stoning and so on. Hey, look at this, I'm doing this right now. Well, if you've gone to that extent, I think the next thing is people, which they've already started, iftar time. Iftar of Ramadan. loads of selfies, pictures, photos. Oh, look what we having as food for our iftar. Why on earth are you doing that, man? I mean, the person who prepared the iftar did it for whose sake? For whose sake? To please who? Allah's sake. They're supposed to please Allah, right? So why are you advertising all your iftar? It's a holy time, to have a holy moment, you know, to break your fast and do dua, right? Did you do it for all those people outside there? That you're doing that? Then the next thing is that, okay, you know, when it comes to salah as well, to show people, I mean, it's entered already, it's gone to the stage where people want to show that they are praying. So what they do is, they'll go to, for example, Masjid al-Aqsa, or they'll go to Masjid al-Haram, al-Nabawi, or they'll go to Makkah al-Mukarramah, and they'll give the phone to someone, and they'll say, when I start my salah, take a picture of me praying in front of here. Now, I don't mind if this was your private picture. If this is your private picture, as a way of you reminding yourself, I was in this place, that's fine. But when you send that picture to others, what are you trying to do? Because that is pure riyah. That is pure ostentation, or is showing off. And that 2 rakats you did, or whatever you did, is now in front of other people's eyes. And you can't say you done it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. When you're just showing people, you know, your actions. And in every other part of the religion, people are entering these things, okay? Now it's gone to like sort of hijab styles. Have you noticed the hijab? I've talked about beard, yeah, so some sisters better not go, you know, crazy on me because of this moment I'm saying, yeah? But I've talked about beards and people doing riyah with beards. Now it's time for hijabs, okay? Hijab, you're doing the hijab for what? Hijab is to show, it's a couple of things that you're showing. One is that you're fulfilling the command of Allah Azza wa Jal, which is the main thing. Okay, that Allah told me to cover my hair, I'm covering my hair. That's it. I'm being a servant of Allah, showing Him that I you know, obey Him. Finish. That's one of the main things. The next thing is that you're showing people, look, this is the reason why hijab is worn. You're showing people that I am going to be a person like Maryam alayhi salam, okay, that she covered herself, she remained away from people. Now I'm not going to be like purely like, because Maryam alayhi salam, the mother of Isa alayhi salam, never touched a man in her life. But I am going to at least not allow a man to touch me until it comes to my nikah time. And I will only touch that man who I do nikah with. And I want to show through this hijab to all the other men that you should not look at me with the wrong eyes. You should respect me, okay? I am covering myself because I am entering a protected fortress. The fortress of all the Muslim brothers and sisters that respect one another, especially the woman who's in hijab. I am now a person who's muhsana, okay? I am person, this is the term of the Quran. I am coming into a life where I expect all my Muslim brothers to respect me, to not touch me, not look at me the wrong way, to protect me if I'm in trouble, okay? To not allow any other brothers to also flirt with me or to look at me in the wrong way and so on, okay? So this is why I'm wearing the hijab. That's a mark of the hijab. Now, they've taken that hijab, and what they do is, now with the hijab, you have many styles, that's one thing. You know, you have many different styles, but then they'll put things on it. Okay, they'll get designer hijabs with designer sort of, you know, naming on it. I mean, if you got designer hijab, will the brothers sort of look more away from you or probably look more towards you? Can you ask that question? And then they'll put this silver little dangling thing here that's shining as they're walking on the hijab. They pinned it on the hijab. What are you doing again? Are you trying to tell the brothers, don't look at me? Or are you trying to tell the brothers, do look at me? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Then they've got the hijabs where it's like the style is one, the color, then with the hijab of the color will go all the different makeup that they have with the hijab. And it's like you've just come off one of those cat shows. Yeah, you know, the fashion designer shows where they have the catwalk on I call it cat show. But anyway, it's called a fashion designer show, yeah, where they walking on the red carpet in front of others that are taking pictures of them. You've just almost come off one of them. And are you seriously trying, is the image you're trying to give to all the Muslim brothers, look, I don't want you to look at me. I don't want you to look at me. I don't want you to, disrespect me. I don't want you to sort of, flirt with me or, look at me in the wrong way. With all that, I mean, your makeup color is matching your hijab color, matching your thing, whatever, and then you've got your designer thing, and then you've got your glittering stuff, and then you've got all the things that are making the men want to look at you more and more, and the message you're trying to give is don't look at me. I mean, is that the message you're giving? Be honest with yourself. I mean, this is for the sisters out there. Be honest. What's the message you're sending out? What is the message that you're actually sending out? So Riya can go into any thing, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has warned us that it is the minor shirk of this ummah. It's the minor shirk. People do all sorts of things. For example, when you're getting married, oh my God, the amount of Riya that goes on. A simple marriage, there's so much Riya, so much showing off. Marriage is for whose sake, guys? For whose sake? Allah's sake. The whole nikah is supposed to be done for Allah's sake. And they've now entered so many things that every step of the way there is Riya. From the moment they bring the mitai, all right, the mishti or the mitai in the beginning, you've seen these people, they bring, especially with the Bengalis, okay? With the Amma Bengali, I can say this, the amount of mitai they bring is probably worth about £100 or over £100, okay? The amount they bring, that if that family were to eat it, they'd probably die of diabetes. You guys understand, right? They'd probably die of diabetes. But they can't eat it. Even if they distribute it amongst all the relatives and others, they still can't finish it. They have to throw half of it away. Why did you bring that much? Riya, showing off, okay? The moment you're doing your mahar, okay, the mahar, we all know, okay, mahar, the woman has to have a mahar. But what people do again is they have a battle with one another of how high they can put the mahar. Why? Are you really doing this because of the security of your daughter, because of Allah's sake, or are you doing this because you're trying to make sure that people don't criticize you and they don't blame you? People are going to say, oh, he gave his daughter away for £10,000 only. He only gave for £10,000. He could have asked for 20,000 or 50,000. He could have thrown in there a piece of land and a piece of this and a house and what. Look, if it's your thing that you want to throw all of that because you want to get a security for your daughter, that's different. But most people out there are doing this purely because they want to match what others are telling them to do. And it gets you into a lot of trouble, because then either the marriage breaks, the marriage never happens. These people wanted to marry each other. It never happens because of your silliness, because you wanted to show off. And a lot of the fathers don't understand this. They start, one thing people can do a lot of damage to themselves is to listen to too many people. When you listen to too many people, you're in deep trouble. You only listen to a few. And out of the few that you listen to, make sure that you go to someone who's clued on and who has the right heart and who's balanced-minded. Go to such a person, take your advice, and then go with it. Go with one advice of one person. Who has 2 doctors in their life, tell me? Who says, when you're ill, you say, you know what, I'm going to go to 5 doctors. You go to 5 doctors, my friend, you're going to mess yourself up totally. So you're finished. One doctor will say that you should take this prescribed medicine, another one will say a different one. Another one will say that you need to take a rest and to get exercise. Another one will say something else. If you combine all of them together, you're dead. True or not? You can't combine 2 doctors' advice. You follow one doctor and you go with his advice. If it works, alhamdulillah. If it doesn't, then you stop what you listen from that doctor. You stop his advice and then you take a different doctor, but one doctor at a time. And his full method and prescription at a time. That's what you do. I've seen people, they mess themselves up because they take too much advice. Too many people, and they're trying to take all the advice at once. You are seriously messed up. You might be in a crisis. It might be a marriage crisis. It might be something else, okay? So they listen to like 10 or 15 people. And all of them, of course, all of them are going to give their own advice. But they're going to give their own different advice. Your job is to know, well, which one is going to be appropriate for me at this time and whatever works for me. So, what happened is they say, Harun al-Rashid, okay, he's one of the kings, Harun al-Rashid, he was, you know, he became ill, okay, and he started to take advice of people. And after taking advice of people took it, and then he became even more sick. And one of the reasons why he became sick is because one of the advisors that gave him advice said that you may not live long. So now he's worried that he might die. And his wazir, his minister, a clever man, walked in next day with a bandage around his arm. Okay, he walked in with a bandage on his arm. So everyone was telling him, oh, what happened? He said, well, you know, I hurt myself forever. And then one's giving him this advice, one giving that advice. So I checked him and said, oh, you should do this and take this advice. You drink this, you take this, you should do blah, 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 blah. Gave him loads of advice. Then he came up to Harun Rashid. He said, did you hear all that advice? He said, yes. Then the wazir, the minister, took off the bandage and his hand was completely fine. He was faking it. You guys understand? He was faking, totally faking it. He said, do you see what the problem is? There's too many doctors here. You guys understand? There's too many doctors here. There's too many people giving you advice when they know nothing. There's only a couple of people you should take advice of in a situation and go with it. What happens here is he told Harun Rashid, he said, your biggest problem is that you've taken too much advice. And one of them told you that you're going to die. He said, do a favor. And the Harun Rashid said, you know, he's a king. He said what? He said, bring that man over here who said that, you know, you're going to die. You're most probably going to die from this. So he brought him over. And the minister then asked him a question to the person who gave that advice. He said, you tell me. He said, when are you going to die? He said, I don't know when I'm going to die. He said, well, if you don't know when you're going to die, then why have you put a time on the king and told him he's going to die? The fact that you put that thought in his mind, what it does is it actually makes you stop eating. That's what Harun Rashid did. He stopped eating. He stopped, you know, he stopped taking foods in. He stopped sleeping properly because he's thinking that this illness, whatever I've got, is going to make me die. But now you're definitely going to die because you put that thought in your head. If that thought wasn't in your head, you'd be fine. Like I'm telling you, a lot of these patients that have got cancer and they've got other things, yeah? An easy way to keep them nice and healthy is don't tell them that you're going to die soon. As soon as you tell them you're going to die soon, then they're going to kill themselves. By not eating, by not sleeping, by not drinking, by worrying with the stress, the depression, they're going to kill themselves. And they're going to die sooner. Best thing to do is keep their hopes up. The more you keep their hopes up, the more the free will can fight it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say to you is that people go for advice. And they go for advice for, say for example, these nikah and so on. And they take so much advice of so many people that they mess everything up. Because some people tell them, oh, are you going to make sure that you book this big hall, right? So they become, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that big hall. Yeah, that's. And then next minute they got is somebody says to them, hey, you're going to book for how many people? So for maybe 200. 200 people? Is that 200 people? How are you going to book 200? No, you need to make it for 300 people. Another guy tells him 500 people. Now he's under pressure. What is he going to do? He's going to keep them all pleased. Okay, this is the problem when you get into this. You're going to keep them all pleased. Then another one says, what are you going to order for food? Oh my God, this man could have just ordered some simple food and fed everybody like maybe £3 a head. He could have fed everyone. He's going to now go into something £10, £12 a head. Now you start calculating how much money that becomes. It's a lot of money. Now he goes and borrows money for this nikah. Why? Because he wanted to please people. You please people, that's where you end up. You're going to end up with in real problem. Then the next thing is people tell him, you know, are you going to have another walima? Are you going to do this? Are you going to call so-and-so? Are you going to have a good stage? Are you going to decorate it like this? Are you going to, you know, and each person he's listened to, oh yeah, let's get this done. Oh, let's get that done. What's the formality? Oh, you're going to have a red carpet, that's that, you know, for the bride and the groom to walk on. Okay, let's get that, another £500 added, or whatever, you know. Oh, you're going to get a limousine, you're going to get that. You're going to make sure that there's cameraman. So now he's going to spend another £1,000 getting all the cameramen in to take proper filming and photography. Oh, you're going to make sure that everybody wears blue on the men's side and pink on the women's side. Blue on the men's side and pink on the women's side. I feel like bringing you to me and giving you two black eyes. If you know what I'm trying to say, yeah? You can have black on both sides, no problem. They'll match. Both sides will match. Blue on the men's side and pink, and then the blue has to be certain blue. Oh my God. You've got to go on, the ladies go out, they fetch a certain type of blue and they give it to everybody. Okay, this is the one. You've got to go to that shop and buy this dress or this cloth. You've got to cut it and then you've got to take it to this tailor and get it specially made. You know how much money is being spent just to keep people happy. Just to keep people happy. And these clothes, they're made per person, 100 and something pounds. Per person. The whole family, several thousands of pounds. For the youngsters, the middle ones, the old ones, and they're only going to wear it once in their life. Once in life. What did, to please Allah you did all of this? Seriously? To please Allah you did this? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Allah Azza wa Jalla has said, you know, one of the things, okay, let's move on to a different type of riyah. Allah Azza wa Jalla has said that there's a big riyah that happens, a big showing off that happens when it comes to even giving sadaqah, giving zakat and giving sadaqah. Okay? It's in the Quran, surah number 2, ayah number 262. You look around there, you'll find it. There are many ayats talking about that. What happens is people give and then people want to show that I gave. So people want to show this to others, either in a masjid, they want their name to be mentioned, they want them to be known. Now, Allah Azza wa Jalla has said in the Holy Quran, this is in surah number 2, ayah number 271, he has said, "In tubdu sadaqati fa ni'mahi." If you're going to show others that you've given sadaqah, it's a good thing because you can encourage others to give. So when you show others what you've given or what you're giving, to encourage others, that's fine. But then Allah says, وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا, but if you hide it, وَتُؤْتُوهَا الْفُقَرَاءَ, you hide it and you give it to the poor people, فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ, it's better for you to hide it. وَيُكَفِّرُ عَنْكُم مِّن سَيِّئَاتِكُمْ, Allah will, remove your sins. وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ, and Allah is well aware of what you're doing. Now, imagine this, people give, and people want the poor people to give them respect. I've seen this. So imagine this, one person goes from here, let's say they go to back to India, Bangladesh or Africa, let's say Ghana or somewhere in Nigeria, wherever it is, and they want to give the money. But imagine this, they give the money and they're looking forward for the poor person to say to them so many kind words. Oh, Mash Jazakallah khair, and thank you, and I really love the fact that you look after me and you're such a generous person. And this person going, his own ego is being pumped up with his words, and he looked forward to this poor person saying these words to him. Next time he sees him, the poor person is going to give respect to him and show him a few more kind words, and other poor people will come and then he gives them too, and then they look at him with nice eyes and they respect him, and he's kind of feeling inside that, such a wonderful moment. My friend, you're in riyah. This is showing off, straight up. People don't realize how subtle it can be. And the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, akhaf, he said, is going to be smaller than the leftovers of an ant. He said, Riya, he warned us. He said, Riya is a shirkul khafi. He said, it's the hidden shirk. It's a hidden association with making partners with Allah. And they said, what is that? And he said about Riya, in one hadith he told us, he said, it is going to be smaller than the leftovers of an ant. Sometimes you don't even realize it, how you've just done Riya. If subhanAllah, the ulama say, when you've given someone sadaqah, when they thank you, you should say to them you should say to them, the thanks is on me. You shouldn't thank me. I should thank you that you've given me the opportunity to give my zakah of my sadaqah out to you. I should be thankful to Allah that Allah's given me this wealth, and my thanks is to Allah. I don't want you to praise me. I don't want you to give me all these kind words. Thank you for whatever, but the thanks is on me. The fact that I've been able to do this action, because there are so many people with money who don't give sadaqah, who don't have the opportunity to give the sadaqah. They're just holding their wealth. True or not? Yes? So the thanks is, on me. I mean, don't think that I've done a favor to you. No, you've done a favor on me. And I should humble myself in front of you. And I'm really feeling, at this moment, I'm feeling that I'm so thankful to Allah that I'm not, I'm not going to say, you're not going to say this to the poor person, but you should feel inside you that I'm so thankful to Allah that I'm in the position of the upper hand, not in the position of the lower hand. The Prophet ﷺ has said, the upper hand is better than the lower hand, meaning that the giver of sadaqah is better than the one who takes it. Although the one who takes it is in need of it, fine, but the one who's giving the sadaqah, he's got the upper hand. Allah has given him a big gift, and for that you need to thank Allah Azza wa Jal. So riyah goes into that. There's people, subhanAllah, they will only give monies and so on to a place when their name is mentioned, when their name is kind of written down. They want to be known for who they are. They'll only give sadaqah when other people are around to show that they've given something. Or they will go around later on and they'll talk about the sadaqahs they gave. That's riyah. So they'll say, oh, I also gave £1,000 to this project. It's just £1,000, £1,000. What are you mentioning it for? Are you trying to encourage others? If you're trying to encourage others, then fine. Say, I gave £1,000. Look guys, I gave £1,000. I want all of you to give £1,000 if you can. That's encouraging others, that's fine. But if you're doing it to show that you've done it, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, that's riyah. Riyah also has taken place in Islamic knowledge. Showing off in Islamic knowledge. How? People get into gatherings, they have ayats, they have certain verses that they know, or certain ahadith they know. They won't tell people on a normal occasion. Let's say, for example, it's me and you one-to-one. They'll think, no, I don't want to drop this hadith right now. I want to drop the hadith at a moment when there's more people. Because then the people will say, wow, how does he know that? Wow, you knew that. And there's people who drop into ostentation for that. There's people who drop into riyah because of the adhan. Because of the adhan. They're all dying to get to the front to give the adhan. The adhan is the same for every single salah, yes or no? Tell me. Yes or yes? So is there a difference in, like, if you're doing it for Allah's sake, Allah heard you give the adhan for Asr, and Allah heard you when you gave the adhan for Maghrib, yes or no? Yes? So why are there no fights for the Asr adhan in a masjid? The adhan of Asr in a masjid, people are not competing. People are not coming, hey, let me do the Asr adhan in the masjid. Why not, tell me? Hardly anyone there. 15 minutes before Asr, you'll find 2 or 3 people in the masjid. The guys have gone to the toilet area, wudu area, hardly any people have come, all right? So there's no fights for the adhan for Asr. And if you're giving the adhan for Allah's sake, then for you to give adhan at Asr is exactly the same as giving adhan for Maghrib. Do you agree with me, yes or no? Because the same Allah heard you. But why is there so many people trying to compete for, let me tell you what, the adhan of Maghrib? Because why? Because everyone's sitting there waiting for the salah. So they're competing for the Maghrib one and the Jummah one. Oh, yeah. Big fights. Big arguments. Why for Jummah? Why? Because the whole masjid is full. Now the Jummah adhan is no different from the Fajr adhan, no different from the Dhuhr adhan, and no different from the Asr adhan. But people compete for certain adhans. Why? If you're competing for certain adhans, let's say for example, you're competing for the Jummah one always, but you're not competing for the Asr one, or for the ones where people are not there, then question yourself. That's showing off. That's doing it for people because you want people to hear the voice and people to say to you, oh, what a beautiful adhan and so on. Sometimes it's not because of your voice. Sometimes these muadhins, they compete. I don't know what they're competing for because they don't even have a nice voice. It's not even for the voice. It's for the position. It's for the position that I want to be seen by others in this position. And la ilaha illallah, there's people fighting for the mimbars for this. There's people fighting for the adhan place for this. There's people, when janazah happens, have you seen certain people? They become the knowledgeable person. Hey, how many lines have you got? Hey, have you standing around? Hey, you're supposed to put the mayyit this way. You're supposed to take the deceased this way. You're supposed to carry the soul because I'm the one who knows. I'm going to tell everyone what happens, okay? And if 2 people like that come together that day, there's going to be a fight over the grave. Who buries this one this way and that way and so on. The thing is, if there's a knowledgeable person who's more knowledgeable than you, then you just allow them to speak and you stay quiet. Finish, because there are people who've been blessed with more knowledge. Alhamdulillah, let them come forward and let them do it. People for dua, they're competing. People to do certain action, whatever. Then you got this whole thing, the person has passed away. Then they call a gathering, and they'll have people reading the Quran. And have you noticed half these gatherings where they all get together to read the Quran, hardly anyone is reading loudly. They got it in, they got them. Look, they got the Quran like this. You know why they're not reading loudly? Because they don't know how to read. Some of them, I'm telling you from my heart, I know they don't know how to even read Arabic. But because they ended up in the gathering and a juz of the Quran was given to them, and now it's like, oh, everyone's got a juz, and I've also got a juz. It's going to be so embarrassing for me to tell everyone that I don't know how to read the Quran. How can I say to them, oh, I don't know how to read the Quran? So, it's good. Tell them you don't know how to read the Quran. That's what you're supposed to do. Say, look, I'm sorry, but, let somebody else read it. Or try to make some other excuse if you can. But don't try and keep putting it in your hand, right? You're showing everyone that, I'm following everything. You haven't even said a single word. You don't even know whether this right way around or upside down. You probably don't even know that much, right? And you're trying to basically just impress people. You're trying to impress them. And that is Riyah. That is what Riyah is. You look at these TV stations, the Islamic TV station, I know what's going on. There are people who are competing with one another to get behind the camera. There are people who are competing with one another to get behind the camera. Whether they know the religion properly or they don't know the religion properly, it's a position of power. People competing for masjid places, the committee places. People competing for that because it's a position of power. They're not doing it for Allah's sake. They're doing it because they're gonna have a lot of people looking up to them. Oh, I'm a secretary of the masjid. Oh, I'm a general secretary of the masjid. Oh, I'm a treasurer of the masjid. Oh, I'm a so and so. And when you speak to them, they say, we just do little service. Trying to be all humble about it. I'm thinking, well, if you're so humble about it, then give your position to somebody else. They'll never do that. At the same time, they want everyone to know that they did these things. And if somebody forgot their names, have you ever been to a gathering where someone's name wasn't mentioned and they got really angry? Oh, you prepared the whole, you did voluntary work, you must have done something, I don't know, you probably got the people together, you whatever function it was, you made the effort behind it, or you cooked, or you prepared the food, or you donated the money for the food, whatever, and they forgot to mention your name. And then you feel inside yourself, you feel that the whole function finished and nobody mentioned my name. Oh, yeah. Who did you do it for? Whose sake did you donate the money for? Whose sake? It's supposed to be for who? For Allah. For whose sake did you do the voluntary work, or cleaned up, or prepared it, or cooked, or whatever you did? For Allah's sake. So if your name isn't mentioned with people, is your name mentioned in the heavens, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes? Is it recorded in your book of actions, yes or no? Is it going to be read out on the day of judgment and shown to you of what you did, yes or no? Yes. But why you then disturbed that people never took your name? Because you did it for riyah, to show off. And that's how you find out. If you want to find out, like Imam Ghazali rahimahullah has a wonderful way of knowing whether you're in a position of showing off or not. So in one of his parts he writes this. He says that sometimes you're in, let's say for example as an imam of salah, he gets emotional. Let's say an imam of salah, he gets emotional. And sometimes emotion comes over him and he feels like crying. Imam Ghazali rahimahullah said at that moment, it could be you that you're maybe you're reading Quran and you're getting emotional, but there's other people in front of you that are watching you. It could be you're in a dua and people are watching you and you become emotional at this time. Okay? Imam Ghazali says, at that moment ask yourself, if I was on my own, would I really be like this? Or is it because there are people around me? Would I have become so emotional on my own? Yes or no? Do I ever do this on my own? Am I able to shed tears? and become emotional, when I'm on my own and shed tears for the sake of Allah because no one's watching me at that time? Yes or no? That's the first thing you ask yourself. If it's a no, then you should stop yourself because you're not doing it privately. So why should you do it publicly? Okay? If it's a yes, that yes, sometimes privately I also get emotional like that, then Imam Ghazali says, ask yourself, can I control myself? Can I at this moment stop myself from shedding my tears, becoming emotional? Because people are watching me, their eyes are on me. Right now they're going to look at me, they're going to say, oh, mashallah, hey, mashallah, mashallah. You look at him, oh, he's crying, oh, brother, we saw you so much, oh, brother, give you a nice hug, I lift you to the seventh heaven. That's Riyah, my friend, that's Riyah. Now they're spoiled, they put you in a big trouble. Because first you were doing it for Allah's sake and now they come and hug you and they praise you and so on. And now your mind goes towards people, then you've lost it. So Imam Ghazali says, can you stop yourself? Can you stop yourself? If it's a yes, then stop yourself. If it's a no, you're so emotional that you just can't stop yourself and you just have to, he said, hide it as best as you can. And if you can't, then let it come. Because you're already doing it privately. Now you're in a public place, you're not doing it for people. It's an emotion that's come over you. Just let it out, but try and control it as much as you can. So that it's not something which, tomorrow you might look back and think, wow, I did that, and people looked at me and so on. I'll tell you another one. People sometimes do a good action, and others praise you for your action. Do you love it when people are praising you for your action of the deen that you've done? Or do inside you you'd rather say, I'd rather you not talk about this. What happens to you in your heart? If at the moment when people say, oh, mashallah, brother, I saw you praying salah, such long rakahs you did, mashallah, may Allah bless you. Your ruku was done with longer than my ruku. If they're doing that and your heart is like, tell me more, tell me more. If that's what's going on in your head, then you're in Riyah. You just showed off. But if you're in your head, it's like, I don't want you to speak about this. Look, okay, brother, Jazakumullah, thank you. You just cut the conversation off. You don't want him to praise you. Then you've done it for Allah's sake. So test yourself in different positions and different places. If you really want to do it for Allah's sake, then do it as secretly as possible that nobody even knows. Do you know that, let me share this with you. Do you know that Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, he had an ustadh. He had a teacher, a great teacher. Nobody knew who did this action until Imam Bukhari's teacher passed away. So what used to happen is, this was the olden days, These were the days when people, did not have the same system as what we've got today. So poor people would wake up in the morning, and when they'd open their door, there'd be a bag of gold coins in front of their door. Imagine this, they wake up and like somebody left for them a bag of gold and dropped it in front of their house. And they knew it was for them because, it was in the place where any person who's dropping any post or letters or whatever would drop it. So they know it's for them and they spend it. And different poor people on different occasions would receive a bag of gold. Nobody in the entire life knew who it was until the janazah of that scholar was prayed, and after that there was no more bags of gold. Do you guys get it? That's true ikhlas, because the opposite of riyah, the opposite of showing off is ikhlas. Like last time we covered about takabbur, and we covered about people being sort of feeling that they're arrogant or above others. The opposite of that is tawadu, to feel that you're humble. The opposite of what we've just discovered today, riyah, is to do for Allah's sake. The mardatillah, which Allah has mentioned in many parts of the Quran. And the one thing we want is, look, I'll mention this and then we'll finish the session, yeah? Imagine, on your social media, you get the likes of a lot of people. Like. One thing I do mention is that, do you know if it's a like from a good person or like from the shaitan? Who's liking it? You don't even know who's liking it. But anyway, like. You can gather all the likes of the whole of the world, but if you don't get one like, all those likes are meaningless. If you don't get Allah's like, then all those likes that you've got on your social media mean nothing. Mean nothing at all. You know, people think that they've got a certain status in this world because I've got this many likes. I'm big. Yeah, I've got 12,000 followers. You've only got 6. And that makes me a monster compared to you. What kind of rubbish and nonsense is that? Because if that person who's only got 6 followers has got Allah's like, and you haven't got Allah's like, then they have got more than you. Because once his world finishes, all these likes mean nothing. And if you've got the like of Allah, and you've got the like of Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, second, then you got everything. Who needs other likes? So people, they're on the social media always looking, have I got a few more likes? Have I got a few more numbers? Have I got a few more views? They said post something on, a few more views. Have I reached the first 1,000? Have I reached the first 10,000? They're always, looking for this. Why? Because they're doing it for other reasons than Allah. Because if you do for Allah's sake, then Allah saw it. I don't need to look at how many views I got. Because Allah's seen it. My Ustad said, he said, Dekhne wala ne dekh liya. The one who's supposed to have seen it has seen it, finished. Allah is the one who's supposed to have seen it, he's seen it, finished. So anyway, today's session is over. Have you got any questions that you want to ask? Yes?
In our religion, our religion is ahead of other religions, such as Christian got Sunday, a special day, Jews got Saturday, we got Friday. In terms of the beard we're talking about, Jews got beard, Sikh got beard. So what type of beard Muslims should have?
What type of beard should we have in comparison to all the different beards that are out there? We have our own beard, which is, look, the definition of our beard is that anything that grows on your jawbone, whole jawbone, you keep, and the part that goes all the way down to the jawbone, that part, and anything growing on the jawbone, at least that much you keep. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had his own fistful. He had a fistful of a beard. Okay? And he said also that we trim our mustaches. He asked us to trim our mustaches. Now, that's our identity. If you look at other religions, they either won't trim the mustaches, or they'll grow their beard in a certain way, or they'll lengthen certain sides and other parts. So we have our own unique identity. Okay. Any other questions? Yes?
You were saying about not showing off when, for instance, crying. But I can't, correct me if I'm wrong, is there a hadith in regards to one time, I think it was in Taraweeh, I don't know if you can just help me out on this one, I don't know even if it's a hadith, where it was encouraged to cry if you can't cry.
Okay, so that is about a dua that you make. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ said that when you are making dua to Allah, he said, if you can't cry, then pretend in front of Allah that you're crying. But that's a one-to-one with Allah only. So you're trying to show Allah that, look, I couldn't cry, but I'm trying to make the face of a person crying just to get your mercy, just to get your attention, right? Just for you to have mercy on me. So that's a one-to-one with Allah. That should not happen in front of the public where others are watching. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. I'll see you inshallah next week. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
الذكر علم ونور الحاملات سنا ونور والرسمات هنا سرور يا حلوة تلك السنين.
The Safar curriculum covers all the Islamic educational needs of young Muslims today in a fun, simple and engaging way. Tried and tested for over 15 years at one of the UK's leading maktabs. The curriculum has been adopted by hundreds of institutions around the world and makes your child's journey in seeking knowledge easy, meaningful and dynamic. This innovative and comprehensive curriculum covers Quran and Tajweed, Islamic studies, du'as and surahs, as well as Arabic in an integrated and structured way. Visit safarpublications.org to find out more.